You know that really specific feeling that hits you around 10 p.m. on a Sunday night?
Well, the Sunday Night Life audit,
Yeah.
yes. It is a very, very common thing.
Right. Like you have just been relaxing, maybe, scrolling on your phone for a couple of hours.
Just kind of ignoring the fact that Monday morning is coming.
Exactly. Ignoring reality. And then out of nowhere, you get this sudden, crazy burst of energy. You suddenly feel this urgent need to completely change your entire life.
Yeah, you convince yourself that the lazy person you were at 9 p.m. is gone.
Mm.
And this new person at 10 p.m. is like a highly productive machine.
Yes. You literally sit up in bed and think, okay, that is it. I have been living terribly. But starting tomorrow, everything changes.
Everything.
Everything. You tell yourself, I'm going to wake up at 4:30 in the morning.
Without an alarm, of course.
Obviously. No alarm. And I'm going to go for a massive run, drink a huge bottle of warm lemon water, and maybe meditate in total silence for an hour.
You might even decide to learn a new language, right?
Yeah, I am going to learn English perfectly, finish all my work projects, and completely organize my life before I even have my first cup of morning tea.
It is such a great fantasy, honestly.
It feels amazing just thinking about it.
Because your brain actually gives you a hit of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, just from imagining that success. You get to feel proud of yourself without actually doing any of the hard work.
Wow, that makes so much sense. But as we both know, this plan is completely doomed.
Oh, 100% doomed to fail.
Because reality hits you on Monday morning, maybe, just maybe, you actually drag yourself out of bed for that run on day one.
Just running on pure excitement.
Right. But by Wednesday,
By Wednesday, the magic is gone.
completely gone. The alarm rings, it is dark outside, your body hurts, and you just hit the snooze button. You skip the run, you grab some heavy, sugary snack on your commute to work or college, and by Wednesday afternoon, you just feel terrible about
You
yourself.
feel like you failed.
Yeah. You tried to force this massive overnight change, and your brain just rejected it.
And, the real sadness of that cycle isn't that you failed. The real problem is the lesson we take away from that failure.
What do you mean?
Well, we tell ourselves, oh, I am just lazy. I do not have any discipline. But we do not realize that we actually set a trap for ourselves.
Well, trap.
Yeah, we see it in movies, on social media, everywhere. We are taught that real meaningful success requires this huge, dramatic struggle. We think change has to be painful and immediate.
And that brings us exactly to the topic of our deep dive today. We are looking at a really fascinating stack of sources today.
Really interesting notes and research on human behavior.
Right. And these sources completely destroy that idea of the dramatic overnight change. Instead, they present a concept that, honestly, it sounds a little bit boring at first.
It does sound a bit simple.
It is the compound power of small habits.
Small habits, but they are the hidden foundation of almost every major life change.
Yes. So if you are listening to us right now, our mission for this deep dive is to unpack this hidden foundation for you.
We want to change how you think about success.
Exactly. We want to take away that heavy pressure you feel to achieve quick success. We are going to look at how tiny, simple, even boring daily actions can completely change your future.
You are not going to leave this deep dive with a giant, scary list of things to do.
No, not at all. The sources show that just understanding something simple like reading for 10 minutes a day can totally rewrite your life.
But to understand that, we really have to change how we measure value. We have to stop looking at huge, impossible goals and start respecting the very small, easy things we do every day.
So let's start there. Let's talk about what a small habit actually is and, more importantly, why we always underestimate them.
Right.
The main idea in our source material is very clear. It says small habits create big results over time.
Small habits, big results.
But then the sources give examples that feel almost too simple. They say things like drink more water, read for just 10 minutes, go to sleep early.
Very basic things.
Yeah, and I have to be honest, when I first read these notes, my brain just completely rejected the idea.
It feels like it is not enough, right?
Exactly. The goals we have for our lives are huge. We want a great career, we want to be super healthy, we want to speak perfect English, we want to be really smart. And the advice here is drink a glass of water.
It feels unbalanced.
Totally unbalanced. Or let's look at the reading example. Read for 10 minutes a day.
Okay, let's break that down.
If I only read for 10 minutes a day, I might only read like 3 or 4 pages.
True.
At that speed, it will take me a whole month, maybe more, just to finish one book.
It feels very slow.
It is so slow. If I want to be a well-read person, shouldn't I push myself harder? It feels like Well, it feels like trying to empty a giant swimming pool using a tiny little teaspoon.
A teaspoon. That is a great image.
Right. Like, sure, you are technically taking water out of the pool, but the pool is so big and the spoon is so small, it feels like a joke. You are trying, but it feels completely useless.
I completely understand why you feel that way. But the teaspoon comparison actually has a big mistake in it.
Oh, really? What is the
Yeah.
mistake?
It assumes that the only goal is to empty the pool quickly. And it assumes that success is only measured by how much water you remove right now.
Well, yeah. I want to see results.
Exactly. We are trained to only value things if we can see the results immediately. If you read for 10 minutes, you don't instantly feel like a genius.
No, I don't.
If you drink one glass of water, your health doesn't magically become perfect in 5 seconds. You don't see the change.
Right. I want to step on the weighing scale and see my weight drop immediately. I want to study for 1 hour and speak English perfectly the next day. I want that instant feedback.
But human psychology and habit building do not work like that. The sources explain a much deeper system.
Okay, tell me about this system.
The teaspoon is not about the water. The hidden secret here is a concept called compounding.
Compounding, like in a bank.
Yes, very similar. When you use that tiny teaspoon every single day, the magic is not in how much water you scoop out once. The magic is in the frequency, doing it every day. You are using the compound interest of your behavior.
Okay, wait, break that down for me. How does my behavior compound? I know how money compounds. The bank adds a tiny bit of money to your account, and over time it grows. But how does 10 minutes of reading compound?
It compounds by changing your identity.
My identity.
Who I am. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's use the money example first. If you save like 50 rupees today, you are not rich.
Right.
But if you save 50 rupees every single day,
Yeah.
over many years, that money grows and you build real wealth.
Okay, I follow that.
The habit version of this is in our sources. These simple things like drinking water or reading for 10 minutes are powerful because they're not just boring tasks. They're actually building a new identity for you.
How does reading for 10 minutes build my identity?
Because every time you do that small habit, you are showing proof to your own brain. You are proving what kind of person you are.
Ah, so instead of thinking, oh man, I only managed to read 3 pages today.
Start thinking, I am the kind of person who reads every day.
Wow.
Eh.
I'm the kind of person who reads. That is a big shift in how you see yourself.
It is huge. You are voting for your new identity. Our text has a really beautiful quote for this. It says, even tiny progress is still progress.
Even tiny progress is still progress. I like that.
Right. When you sit down and read for just 10 minutes, you prove to your brain that learning is important to you. You actually build the physical connections in your brain of a reader. Okay, so if I look at it that way, the teaspoon idea totally changes. The spoon is not there to empty the pool quickly.
No, it's not.
The action of picking up that spoon every single day, it is like going to the gym. It is strength training for your mind. You are building the muscle of consistency.
Exactly. You're building the consistency muscle. And later, you can use that strong muscle to do much bigger things. But you cannot do the big things if you don't build the basic strength first.
You have to start with the teaspoon.
You have to start with the spoon.
Okay, but if the psychology proves this is true, if small daily actions are the real way to change our lives, then why do we naturally hate this idea?
It is a good question. Like, why do we reject 10 minutes of reading, but we dream about studying for 3 hours straight? Why are our brains wired like that?
To answer that, the sources say we have to look at our modern world. We are fighting against our own nature, and social media makes it worse.
Social media always makes it worse.
It does. We live in a world that is obsessed with quick success. We only see the best moments of other people's lives.
The highlight reel.
Right. We see the person who suddenly became rich, or the person who lost 20 kilos in a month, or the video that went viral overnight.
But we don't see the background work.
Never.
Yeah.
We never see the thousands of boring, quiet, small choices they made every day before that big moment.
The sources talk about this exact problem. They call it the myth of quick success versus the reality of consistency.
The reality of consistency.
Yeah. The notes say that almost everyone wants fast results, but they give us a rule. And this might be the most important sentence in all our research today.
What is the rule?
Consistency is more important than perfection.
Consistency is more important than perfection. That is a huge mindset shift.
Right.
If you, as a listener, can truly believe that showing up every day is better than being perfect once, You will solve the biggest reason why people fail to reach their goals.
Let's talk about a real-life example of this, the New Year's resolution.
Oh, the classic example.
It is the ultimate proof of why perfection fails. Okay, imagine it is January 1st. You made your goals, you go to the gym,
Yeah.
and you don't just do a normal workout.
No, you do everything.
You do everything. You run on the machine for an hour, you lift the heaviest weights, you do yoga, you sit in the steam room, and you drink a giant green health juice.
A perfect health day.
You walk out of the gym feeling like a superhero. For that one single day, you were absolutely perfect.
But the cost of that perfect day is terrible.
It is so bad because on January 2nd, the pain hits you.
Your muscles are screaming.
You are so sore you can barely lift your hand to drink your morning tea. And then the alarm rings on January 3rd. The thought of going back to the gym for another 3 hours, it's not just boring. Your brain actually sees it as a threat.
It feels like an impossible mountain to climb.
It is a huge mountain. So what do? You start making deals with yourself.
Start making excuses.
Yeah. You say, well, I can't do 3 hours today. My body hurts too much. So there's no point in going at all.
And you stay home.
You stay home. And you probably never go back.
What you are describing is the trap of perfectionism. It shows a complete misunderstanding of how real change happens.
Because real change takes a long time.
Exactly. Real change is a long road. When we demand perfection from ourselves, we make the task too hard.
We raise the bar too high.
Way too high. To be perfect, you need 100% motivation, maximum energy, and perfect weather. If you're a little tired, or if it's raining outside, the whole plan falls apart.
But the sources say that if we just let go of perfection, we actually make it easier to succeed.
We make it emotionally safe to just try.
Okay, explain that. How does letting go of perfection make it safer?
Think about the entry gate to your habit. If your goal is a perfect 3-hour gym session, that gate is locked tight. It is heavy.
Very heavy.
But what if your goal is just to do 10 simple exercises in your living room?
Just 10.
Just 10. It is not perfect. It won't make you a bodybuilder in a day. But the entry gate is completely open.
I see.
You can do 10 exercises when you are tired. You can do them before your morning shower. You can do them even if you only have 5 free minutes.
So you are basically making it impossible to fail because the task is so small.
Yes. Trying to be perfect causes friction. It stops you from being consistent. If you only study English when you have 2 hours of completely quiet free time,
Which never happens.
which never happens, then you'll only practice maybe 3 times a month.
Right.
But if you accept a messy, imperfect 5 minutes of practice on the bus or the train, you will practice 365 days a year.
So the goal completely shifts. The goal is no longer this huge, exhausting performance. The real goal is simply this. Do not break the chain.
Just show up.
You care more about the habit of showing up than how perfectly you do the habit.
Showing up is the only real metric for success.
Okay, if showing up every day is the key to success, we really need to talk about when we show up. The sources are very clear about the best time of day to plant these small habits.
They are very specific about it,
Yeah, they don't say, oh, just do your habits whenever you have free time.
because that usually means you will never do them.
True. Instead, they point straight to the most important part of the day, the morning window.
The morning window, it sets the tone for everything.
The text says this very simply. A good morning creates a productive day.
It is a simple truth.
And then it lists some healthy morning habits. And again, they sound super simple. Waking up early, stretching your body, and drinking water. Now, earlier I was complaining about the water idea, but let's actually look at the science here. Why are drinking water and stretching so important in those first few minutes of the day?
Well, think about what your body goes through when you sleep. For 7 or 8 hours, you are basically shut down.
Just lying in the dark.
Your body temperature drops.
Yeah.
Your joints get stiff. And importantly, you are breathing out moisture all night, but you are not drinking anything.
So you're drying out.
Yes, you wake up mildly dehydrated. Even your brain tissue needs water to function properly.
Wow, so you are waking up with a biological disadvantage.
A huge disadvantage. So when the sources say you need to stretch and drink water, it is not just some trendy health advice.
It's not just for Instagram.
No, it is a required physical reboot. Drinking water wakes up your metabolism. Stretching sends a physical signal to your nervous system.
It tells your brain, hey, we are awake now.
Exactly. It pushes blood up into your brain so you can actually start making clear decisions.
Which makes the final morning habit from the text so incredibly important. Because once your brain is awake, You face the biggest test of the modern world.
The biggest challenge of the day?
The text clearly states, you must avoid your phone immediately after waking up.
It is the hardest rule to follow.
Let's be totally honest with each other here. This is so hard.
It really is.
For almost everyone listening, the phone is the alarm clock.
Yes, it is right there next to your pillow.
The machine that wakes you up is the exact same machine that holds all your stress, your work emails, your family WhatsApp groups, and the news.
All in one place.
You reach out, you turn off the alarm, the screen lights up your dark room, and all those notifications are just staring at you, bugging you to click them.
You're fighting a war before you even open your eyes properly.
But I want to ask a tough question here. Why is grabbing the phone so bad?
Okay.
Like, let's say I grab my phone just to check the weather or to read a simple good morning message from my friend. Is that really going to ruin my entire day? It feels harmless.
It feels harmless. But to understand why it hurts you, we have to look at what your brain is doing in those first waking moments.
Okay, what is the brain doing?
When you are asleep, your brain is in a deep, slow state. When you wake up, you don't just instantly jump into a fast, awake, problem-solving state.
It takes time.
Right. You pass through a middle phase. Your brain produces alpha waves.
Alpha waves.
Yes. In this alpha state, your brain is very relaxed, but it's also very sensitive and vulnerable.
It's like your brain is slowly starting its engine.
Exactly, a slow start. Now, what happens if you shove a smartphone screen into your face during that delicate phase?
Well, you see a lot of information.
Yes. The moment you open an app or read an email or check the news, you force your brain out of that natural, slow wake-up process. You push it straight into a state of panic.
A state of panic. You mean a reactive state. You are reacting to things instead of creating your own thoughts.
Yes. You are instantly living on someone else's schedule. An urgent message from your boss. A scary news headline. A video that makes you angry. Your brain sees all this complicated information as a threat.
And what does the brain do when it sees a threat?
It releases a stress chemical called cortisol.
Oh, wow. So you are filling your body with stress chemicals before you even get out of bed.
Exactly. You are going into defense mode.
You have completely given up your control.
But think about the other way, the proactive way. If you wake up, leave the phone alone, stretch your arms, and drink a glass of water.
You are focusing on your real physical world.
Yes, you are telling your nervous system, I am in control today. I decide how fast we go.
It builds a foundation of control.
And that small feeling of control actually changes how you handle stress for the rest of the day.
That is a brilliant way to think about it. By looking at your phone, you are literally letting the noise and stress of the outside world into your house before you have even washed your face. So, leaving the phone alone is the ultimate small habit. Just waiting 20 minutes before looking at a screen can totally change your focus and your mood.
It is a massive upgrade to your day.
And this brings us to a really perfect transition. We have talked a lot about building good habits and keeping our mornings safe. But the phone represents a much bigger problem that our sources talk about.
The dark side of habits.
Right. We have to look at the opposite side of the coin, the power of bad habits.
Because the exact same brain rules that help you build good habits, they also make bad habits very, very strong.
The text highlights a sad truth. It says, bad habits are easy to start, but hard to stop.
Very true.
It mentions common problems, like sleeping too late or putting off your work. But the biggest example they give, and I promise every single person listening has experienced this, is the social media trap.
The biggest trap of our modern life.
The sources describe it perfectly. You sit down on your chair, you tell yourself, I'm just going to check my phone for 5 minutes while I drink my chai.
Just 5 minutes. Famous last words.
Right. You open the app, you start looking at short videos or reels,
Okay.
and the next thing you know, your tea is completely cold, the room is dark, and one entire hour has disappeared from your life.
Vanish.
You look up, and you have no memory of what you just watched for 60 minutes.
Psychologists actually call that time blindness. You completely lose your sense of time.
But why does this happen so easily? This is what I want to know. If I want to read a book for 10 minutes, I have to fight a massive battle with my brain. I have to set a timer and force myself.
It takes effort.
But I can watch silly videos for an hour by accident with zero effort. Why are bad habits so sticky?
Well, usually we blame ourselves for this. We think, oh, I have no self-control. I'm a lazy person.
Yeah, you feel guilty.
But the sources say it is not a moral failing. We have to look at the design of the environment. Social media apps are designed by some of the smartest scientists in the world.
And what is their goal?
Their only goal is to completely remove friction.
Friction. Okay, let's explain what friction means here. Friction is the difficulty or effort it takes to do something.
Exactly. Reading a real book has high friction.
Right. You have to find the book, remember what page you're on, focus your eyes, understand the words, and imagine the story.
It burns a lot of brain energy.
Mhm.
But the bad habit of scrolling on your phone,
Mhm.
it requires zero energy.
Literally zero.
The friction has been completely removed by the designers. All you have to do is move your thumb a tiny bit.
Just swipe up. And what does your brain get for moving that thumb?
Your brain gets a very unpredictable, exciting hit of dopamine.
Why unpredictable?
Because these apps work exactly like a gambling machine.
Yeah.
When you swipe, you don't know what you will see next. Will it be a funny joke? Will it be bad news? Will it be an amazing recipe?
You never know.
And because you never know, your brain gets addicted to the surprise. It keeps waiting for the next reward.
So putting off our work procrastination, it's not just a personality flaw. It is basically our natural programming. Our brains want to save energy, and they want quick rewards. So if I have to study for a difficult exam, that has very high friction and no immediate reward.
Right, the reward is months away.
So my brain looks around for an easier way to feel good, and the phone is right there. Zero friction, instant reward.
Exactly. I like to imagine it like a hill. Bad habits are designed to be a steep path going downwards.
Downhill.
Right. If you take one step onto that downward path, gravity takes over. You don't have to try to walk down the hill. You just roll down naturally.
And trying to stop rolling down a steep hill is incredibly hard. It takes a huge amount of energy to stop yourself.
It does. Now think about building a good habit.
A good habit is like turning around and trying to walk back up that steep hill.
Yes. It requires constant, exhausting effort just to take one step. The environment naturally fights against your good habit, but supports your bad habit.
Wow. So how do we win this game? If the bad habit is an easy downhill roll and the good habit is a painful uphill climb, what do? We know willpower runs out.
You cannot rely on willpower alone.
So what is the solution?
We cannot change gravity, but we can change the angle of the hill. The solution, and this is the main point of Section 5 in our sources, is beautifully simple.
Tell me.
We have to make our good habits as easy and frictionless as our bad habits. We have to scale them down.
Scale them down, make them smaller.
Yes. The sources give a golden rule for this. Start small, and they give a very clear instruction. Do not try to change everything at once.
This goes right back to what we said about the dangers of trying to be perfect.
Exactly.
But here, the text gives us a real practical trick to use. Let's look at the example they provide because it perfectly shows how to remove friction.
It's a great example.
Let's say your big goal is to read more books. The perfectionist inside you says, okay, I'm going to read 50 pages every single day.
50 pages is a lot.
It is a massive commitment. It takes an hour, it takes deep focus, you need a quiet room. When you read 50 pages on your daily task list, your brain immediately sees a huge wall of friction.
Your brain sees a huge energy cost.
Right. And what does the brain do when it sees that huge cost? It triggers the procrastination reflex.
It says, hey, maybe we should just check social media for 5 minutes first.
Yes, because reading 50 pages is a giant uphill climb. But the text gives us a very clever trick. It says, instead of 50 pages, tell yourself your only goal is to read 5 pages.
5 pages.
Just 5 pages.
The psychology behind the 5-page rule is brilliant. Because you shrink the task so much, it almost feels silly. You completely destroy the mental wall.
You remove the friction?
You remove the dread.
Yeah.
The fear of doing a huge task is what causes procrastination. But if the rule is just 5 pages, your brain does not feel threatened. You don't need a motivational speech to read 5 pages.
You just sit down and do it.
Exactly.
And here is the real magic of this trick. Once you sit down, you open the book, and you read those first 5 pages. What usually happens?
Well, you have started moving. You know Newton's law of motion. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. It applies to human habits, too. The hardest part of any task is just starting it. Getting off the sofa, walking to the table, and opening the book takes a lot of activation energy.
It's the starting friction.
But once the book is open and you are reading, the energy needed to just keep reading is very low.
So the secret of the 5-page rule is not really about limiting yourself to 5 pages. The 5 pages is just a trick.
A mental trick.
It is just a trick to get you to cross the starting line.
Yes. Once you read 5 pages, you are already involved in the story. So naturally, you just keep going. 5 pages becomes 15 pages or a whole chapter. You ride the wave of momentum.
But, and I think this is the most important part, even if you actually stop after exactly 5 pages, you still win.
You absolutely win. You kept the chain going. You proved your identity as a reader for that day.
I really want the listener to apply this to their daily life, especially at work or in their studies, because this trick is like a superpower.
It works for everything.
Imagine you have a huge project for work or college, a big presentation that is making you feel incredibly anxious. If you write, finish the presentation on your notebook, your brain looks at that huge wall of friction and just shuts down.
It's like writing climb a mountain on your to-do list.
Exactly. So you scale it down, you use the 5-page rule, you cross out finish presentation, and instead you write, open the laptop and write one single sentence.
Just one sentence.
That is it. That is the only thing you have to do to succeed.
And writing one sentence takes 30 seconds. There is absolutely no fear.
And of course, once the laptop is open, your hands are on the keyboard and that first sentence is done. The friction is broken.
The second sentence comes easily. You trick your brain into working.
So when we repeat these tiny, easy actions day after day, we build momentum. But according to the sources, something even more amazing happens inside our brains.
Yes, it changes how our brain uses energy.
This brings us to the final and maybe the best benefit of the research: cognitive savings.
Cognitive savings.
Yeah.
The ultimate reward of building a habit.
The sources state very clearly, habits save time and energy. They explain that when you repeat an action enough times, it gets hardwired into your brain. It stops feeling like work. It feels completely natural.
Almost automatic.
Yeah.
We really need to explain the brain science here because this is the moment when the daily struggle finally ends.
Okay, the text uses a great example for this: learning English.
A very relevant example.
They say that practicing just a little bit every single day, like listening to a short English podcast for 15 minutes, gives you massive results over time.
Right.
But it's not just because you are learning new words. It is because of what happens to the decision-making part of your brain.
Let's connect the dots. Every morning, you wake up with a limited amount of willpower.
Like a battery on your phone.
Exactly like a battery. Every conscious choice you make drains that battery.
Hmm.
Choosing what clothes to wear, deciding what to eat, figuring out which email to answer.
And deciding whether or not you should practice your English today.
Yes, that is called decision fatigue. Every choice takes a little bit of power.
So if you have to argue with yourself every single day, should I listen to the podcast? I'm tired. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. No, I should do it today. You are draining your battery just trying to start.
You are wasting your willpower on the argument.
And on a busy Thursday evening, when you are stressed from work, your battery is in the red zone. So the lazy side of your brain wins. You skip the practice.
Because making choices happens in the front part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, and that part gets tired very quickly.
Okay.
But here is the magic. When you use the tricks we discussed, starting small, making it easy, and doing it every day, the behavior literally moves to a different part of your brain.
It physically moves.
Yes. Through repetition, the habit moves from the front of the brain to a deeper part called the basal ganglia.
The basal ganglia.
Right. And that deep part of the brain handles automatic actions, things you do without thinking.
So it changes from a difficult choice into an automatic reflex.
Exactly. When practicing English becomes a habit, it frees up your battery. You don't have to spend any willpower deciding if you will listen to the podcast.
You just do it.
You just walk into the kitchen, start making your morning tea, and your hand automatically grabs your phone and presses play. The internal argument is completely gone.
You save time and energy, just like the source said, because the friction of making the choice has vanished.
And automating your good habits leads to a feeling the sources beautifully describe as mental peace.
Mental peace. I really love that phrase. Because true mental peace is not just sitting on a beach with no stress. Mental peace is the absence of internal conflict.
Yes.
You are no longer fighting a war with your own laziness every morning. You are not negotiating with yourself. Your habits, those automatic routines in your brain, are doing the hard work for you.
Your daily routine becomes a structure that supports you. You don't have to wake up and force yourself to be disciplined every single day.
And this brings us right back to the beginning of our conversation.
The Sunday night feeling.
Exactly. We started by talking about that crazy Sunday night urge to change your entire life with huge, impossible goals.
The 4 a.m. runs and the lemon water.
Right. But what our sources have proven today is that real, lasting change never happens in a sudden, dramatic jump. It is not a movie montage.
No, it's not.
The foundation of a better life is built in the quiet, boring, normal moments of your day. Small, consistent steps sneak past your brain's defenses, wire themselves into your habits, and slowly create a totally different future.
It is the triumph of the small things. The quiet consistency is what actually unlocks your potential, not those random bursts of extreme motivation.
So, as we bring this deep dive to a close, let's summarize the biggest takeaways from our sources. If you remember nothing else from this conversation, remember these rules.
Rule number one.
First, consistency over perfection. It is much, much better to do a terrible 5-minute job every day than to wait for the perfect day that will never come. Make the task easy so you don't quit.
Second, start small. Always shrink the goal. If the task makes you feel anxious, it is too big. Read 5 pages instead of 50. Write 1 sentence instead of the whole report. Just break that starting friction.
Third, protect your morning window. Guard those first few minutes fiercely. Stretch your body, drink a glass of water, and wake up your brain naturally. Do not let your phone hijack your morning with stress and notifications.
And finally, remember that tiny progress is still progress. Every small action is a vote for the person you are trying to become.
Now, we want to hand the microphone over to you, the listener. Our source materials gave us some great questions, and we want you to really think about them today.
Ask yourself right now,
What are your current good habits? You probably have some automatic good routines that you don't even notice.
and what is one tiny specific habit you want to change?
And most importantly, what is your real morning routine? Are you starting your day in control, or are you immediately reacting to your phone?
I want to leave you with one final interesting idea to think about. We talked a lot about the social media trap, right? How removing all the friction makes 5 minutes easily turn into an hour of wasted time.
The steep downhill path.
Exactly. Think about how powerful that accidental snowball effect is. What if you deliberately used that same trick, but for a positive habit?
Oh, that's interesting.
What if you created an environment where doing the right thing was completely frictionless? If you commit to just 5 minutes of something good today, reading 1 single page, practicing 1 English phrase, or opening your work document how might you accidentally trick your brain into a full hour of great productivity?
Just by giving the snowball a tiny push and letting gravity do the rest.
Precisely. You do not need a Sunday night panic to change your life. You only need to ask yourself right now, what incredibly small, super easy action will you start today? Because that tiny teaspoon used every single day is the only real way to empty the pool.
Start scooping. We will catch you on the next deep dive.